What's up, everybody? dman back, and welcome to the, what is this, third episode of Godzilla Q&A? Today we're going to be kicking things off with a question from Godzilla154, and he asks, what's your favorite Godzilla figure that you own, and what Godzilla figures do you own? Now, I own way too many to count, way too many to show off in one video, really. So my favorite that I own is the SH Monster Arts Godzilla 1964. And that's really just because it's the first Monster Arts I got. The articulation is really nice. Sculpt is great. I love the suit from the movie. And that's pretty much all the reasons. And the version I own is the appearance version with the dirt on his chest. And he comes with an atomic breath, so it's cool. He has accessories. I like it a lot. I really do. And the tail has great movement with it. Other than that, like, my favorite figures would be NECA 2014, SH Monster Arts, Shin Gojira. That's really all of them that I can name off my head that I really like as standouts. But as for what figures do you own, a lot. I own a lot. Maybe someday I'll do a collection video, but not right now. Now we have a question from Sayeed Duran. Believe I pronounced your name right. If I didn't, just expect that I'm not going to pronounce names right from now on. I've never been good at that. And he or she asks, when is the next Godzillathon and what channel? So it will be on this channel. 2017 is the next Godzillathon. King Kong vs. Godzilla, just re-recorded it. Big mess, just re-recorded it. So 2017, the first week I'm back at school, Godzillathon will start coming out again. Here's a question from KelvinZilla2000, and he asks, here's another question. If all three Mechagodzillas were built up to the same size as Shin Godzilla, would they have the advantage to win? Also, which Mechagodzilla would last longest or just survive, literally? And then he put hashtag legendary battle. Now, this is interesting. So if they were all the same size as Shin Godzilla, of course, being the biggest Godzilla we've ever seen, he'd get annihilated. They would have the advantage. He would, without a doubt, Shin Godzilla would demolish Mechagodzilla 74, 75, no problem. Absolutely no resistance there. I mean, sure, that guy's got, you know, rotating finger missiles, he's got rainbow beams, he has that fire breath, he's got tons of different abilities. However, that atomic breath of Shin Godzilla's would just, it would annihilate him. He would not stand the slightest chance. Now, Kiryu would definitely do some damage, and Kiryu's Absolute Zero would work the same way as the coagulant would that they use against Shin Godzilla in the movie. However, we know that the coagulant didn't stop Godzilla, even though he was frozen solid from his blood all the way out. He was frozen solid. Didn't stop him from continuing to evolve, as we saw in his tail, those little creepy crawlies. So yeah, the Absolute Zero would do some damage. It would take him out of the fight for a long time. That wouldn't necessarily stop him. Mechagodzilla 2, however, Shin Godzilla is dead in an instant. I mean, that guy is a brute. Super Mechagodzilla. He gets that thing attached to his back. Shin Godzilla, first of all, yeah, he would be insanely powerful with his atomic breath. But the second he goes into cooldown, the second he goes into recharge mode and just has to sit there and ball up waiting for his radiation to build back up, no. Whatever Mechagodzilla is left standing after that point, whether it be Kiryu and Super Mechagodzilla or just Super Mechagodzilla, he's screwed. I mean, the Mega Buster, just that plasma grenade in Super Mechagodzilla's stomach alone, that is enough, pretty much, to take out Shin Godzilla, I would assume. Bunker bombers hurt Shin Godzilla, so to answer your question, I do believe the one who would have the most chance against him is Super Mechagodzilla, Mechagodzilla 2, and I do think they would win. Now I have a question from Renegade ZX45, who asks, hey D-Man, do you have any SH Monster Arts figures? If you do, which ones do you like? So I answered that earlier. My favorites are, the only two that I own are Shin Godzilla and Godzilla 64. I'm hoping to get more for Christmas, and if I don't over Christmas, I'm going to use whatever money I get at Christmas to buy more. So as of now, yeah, I have those two and I like them a lot. Now I have a question from Godzilla Gamer 50. He asks, can Godzilla 1954 be killed like Shin Godzilla? The answer is no. Shin Godzilla was not even killed technically, he was taken out. He was frozen with Rando Yaguchi's coagulant, which is still, we don't know what it's made of. They didn't explain it. But he was not killed in the first place, but Godzilla 1954 would not be stopped this way because that was very specific to the way that Shin Godzilla's biology worked. That worked because the coagulant cooled down Godzilla's blood. At the same time, it forced Godzilla's blood into cooling itself down because something foreign was being entered into the body, which just meant that it solidified entirely, which froze him. Now, possibly, potentially, it could work against Godzilla 1954, assuming that there was enough of it to just stop his blood in place. I mean, I guess if you want to go with what coagulant actually is, it just stops the blood, it doesn't freeze it. But no, I don't necessarily think that Godzilla 1954 could be stopped that way, because that was very specific to Shin Godzilla's biology. It worked with Shin Godzilla's blood against Godzilla. Now, 54, we don't know how his blood works, but presumably it doesn't work the same way. Now, that's pretty much it for the Q&A. Just one final announcement. If you guys are going to leave questions for the Q&A from now on, could you make sure you put Q&A at the start of your question? So when you comment down below, put Q&A followed by your question. That way it makes it really easy for me to just Control F, type Q&A, find your questions. That way I can write them down for next time. And keep in mind, I'm not going to take everyone's questions, just the ones that I find that are good enough for to be used in a video, as well as questions that are interesting and stuff like that. So if I don't use you, don't feel bad. It's not like I'm against you. Just I have gotten a lot of questions that I want to use, and I do want to get as many as I can. Also, it's going to take me a while to get to your new questions just because I have a really long list of Q&A questions already. So make sure you leave questions down below. It can be on any topics, Walking Dead, Godzilla, Gamera, King Kong, whatever you want. Leave your questions down below and I'll write them down, categorize them later, and then it'll be a fun time when we get to it. So I do this a lot, and I do this a lot. It's weird. I don't get it. It'll be a fun time when I get to it. So thank you guys all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. See you guys next time. D-Man out.